program is brought to you by IG. Trade over 12,000 shares and ETFs, including major tech giants with extended hours on an award-winning platform. IG, where traders are made.
So our stock of the day is IDP Education, ticker code IEL. Now this after warning it will be hit by the government's proposed changes to immigration policies, expecting the international education market to decline by 20 to 25% over the next 12 months. It says a more restrictive policy environment in IDP's key destination countries is reducing the size of the international student market, which has impacted its testing and student placement volumes. IDP is still expecting FY24 earnings to be broadly in line with last year's. And of note, it is the second most shorted stock. Checking in on its performance today off the back of that update, it is down around 4.5%. So let's get into some analysis. Nick, what do you make of it, particularly given that update then?
Well, we were big holders of IDP Education right through to last year. It was a fantastic business, obviously almost a monopolistic position in testing and a very strong position in placements as well. You know, what's clearly changed and triggered us to sell, we sold at around $23, $24 last year, was the announcement that I think it was the Canadian government at the time was going to introduce a more flexible approach to testing away from the British Council standard testing, which IDP Education has a share of. This announcement again highlights how vulnerable it is to winds of change in politics. The clear driver here is the lack of rental supply and rental supply prices, which is driving politicians to cut student numbers in inner cities, particularly Australia. Until there's a solution for that, it's hard to see how student numbers aren't going to be cut. That has a huge impact on IDP. So certainly, as I say, we were out a while ago. We love the company, the product, everything else, but the bigger picture is pretty toxic for IDP at the moment, and still potentially has further to run. There'll be a time to buy the stock, and that's when the political winds move in a different direction. But we still see a runway for a sell-off from here.
Okay, so you've still got to sell on it then?
Yep, correct.
Yep. All right, Mark.
Yeah, I think we had this one recently on the call, and I think it's past its peak essentially. If it's not sitting at record highs by now, given the favourable tailwinds that have been going on, then it's probably not going to go much higher. So it was a real fund manager darling there for a while, I think obviously the very smart move was selling sort of in the last couple of years, because it got to that stage where the growth was starting to phase out a little bit, and you were also getting to a point where there were big business risks to government regulation change. So I would say this is absolutely a sell, and I think ignore sort of how this stock's been treated in the past. I think if there was a broader market sell-off, this is the sort of stock that could get quite ugly, because people might be still holding on because of that nice long run over many years. I think it's if you've held it for 5 odd years, I think you need to bank your profits. I don't think it's going back to those highs, and certainly not in the near term. And I think today's news is just testament to that. I think it'll just get worse.
That is a double sell then on IDP Education, our stock of the day.
This program was brought to you by IG, Australia's #1 CFD provider. Trade over 17,000 markets with extended hours on key US shares and competitive spreads. All on an award-winning platform. IG, where traders are made.